I recently came across this video posted on YouTube. My thanks to the poster. It illustrates a point which is often missed when people attempt to debate faithers. We aren't talking about the subject of these people's discussion here. We are talking about the reasonings used by the people. The lovely comedian Joy Bear attempts to set the tone of this discussion, stating they will debate the pros and cons of the issue.
Should marijuana be legalized? We'll debate the pros and cons right now.
Ron Paul starts talking as if that's what's really going to take place.
Thing I think is a mess. It's outrageous. I think we're getting carried away with the whole war on drugs. That's how silly the whole thing gets. Drugs are very dangerous, but there's a lot of things that's very dangerous. The question is who should regulate danger? Should assume responsibility for ourselves, or should the government take care of us? And I don't believe in the nanny state. If you do have regulations and laws, they should be at the state level, not at the federal. We didn't even have a federal law up until 1937, and here we are. We have spent hundreds of billions of dollars in a very unsuccessful attempt to regulate. And you have all these weird examples. That's one example you mentioned, but what about a sick person dying with...
But let's see what Mr. Baldwin has to say.
Got rid of.
Okay, Stephen Baldwin, hi. You're against legalizing marijuana. Why?
Well, it's a little bit ironic. I could see why Jimmy wanted to rush out of there so quickly. Here you're looking at an actor that has starred in two very popular marijuana films, Half-Baked and Biodome, and here I am bringing a faith-based conservative perspective to this issue, and reality. Marijuana leads to doing worse things. That's just a fact. I don't care what anybody says, what the debate is. When you smoke marijuana at a young age, it'll usually lead to alcohol abuse and harder drugs.
Notice he states that he brings a faith-based perspective to this issue. Then he goes on to say, I don't care what anybody says. In other words, faith-based conservative perspective equals I don't care what anybody says. This is not reasonable logic. This is dogma. So while one person is actually looking at the pros and cons, the other has refused to look at anything anyone else has to say or any portion of evidence that disproves their opinion. I use a fact-based perspective. I do care what the evidence has to say. Why would anyone listen to a person who proclaims outright that the words they are about to say have no founding in fact or reality, but only in blind, reasonless faith?
Here I am bringing a faith-based conservative perspective to this issue. I don't care what anybody says.
Whenever people use language like always and never, understand that they are telling you they have a limited reasoning ability. Call them on their limited perspective. If you use this type of language, identify the way you are inhibiting your mental growth and grow the fuck up. Proof, evidence, and reasonable logic.